Hello, this is Kelsey Simons at the Turquoise Teacher. I was just coming on to show you how easy it is to integrate digital task cards and other digital products into your classroom. I love Google Classroom, and I want to show you how easy and quick it is to go through and add some of my digital resources to your kids' Google Classroom. And so this is my third grade perimeter task cards in Google Classroom. All of my task cards and all of my solve and draws come with both traditional task cards that you can print out, and then also a Google Classroom slides that is no prep to you. It is ready within 3 minutes of downloading. And so I'm going to come here and I'm going to hit download. You'll see this in your My Purchases, or if you go back to the page after you've bought it, it'll come up as a download. Down here, it loads. So I'm just going to click on it, and it will open our PDF. On our PDF, I have a thank you for purchasing my product. I have some basic directions on how to add to the Google Classroom. I have the link to the cards. I have all of my contact information, terms of use, credits, and then I have other products. And then down here are the traditional task cards. And feel free to print these out. I have a set in my classroom, even though I share 99% of the time through Google Classroom, I still have a hard copy because I still put them around the room and treat it like a scoot. And so I like having both sets. Down here we have our task cards answer key. And so even if you do the digital copy, you can still have the students write their answers on here. And at the bottom, we have the answer key. And so you can have your kids self-check, or you can quickly go back and assess how they did. So if you come back up here, on all of my slides, presentations, I'll have an information page about Google Classroom. After you've read this, you're going to come down here, and here is the link. And so you have to be logged into a Google account. So if you're not logged in to your personal or to your school Google account, make sure you're logged in before you go and hit that button. Once you've hit that button, it'll force you to make a copy. And so here it says perimeter task cards, and that's the one that I want. So I'm going to come here and hit make a copy. And this is going to add it to your drive. And so it's going to make a copy and add it to your drive. And it will take a minute to load. And it should up here say copy of perimeter task cards. A lot of times I'll take out this copy of, and so I know exactly where to find it in my drive. So what I love about these are the ability for me to share them and then also to go back and check. And so I'll show you the checking part in just a minute. Down at the bottom, it says click on the question mark. Wait until you see the flashing black line before you hit back. Record your answer. So once they have solved this, they can solve it on their desks, they can solve it on a piece of paper, they can even use some of the functions that Google Slides has with their drawing aspect. And so once they come up with their answer, they're going to come down here, and if they click on the question mark, the flashing black line pops up, but if they click somewhere else, it'll just pop up blue. That means they've just selected it. So if they hit backspace, that text box goes away. So you want to make sure that you hit Control Z. I teach my kids that at the beginning, just Control Z, or however your device undoes something. So they come here and they double click, and they can backspace and then put in whatever answer they choose. And I love it because there's multiple slides. So if you wanted to just assign, you just wanted to assign the first 5, you can either add those to a new presentation or just delete the ones that you don't want them to have. I like to share all 20 at a time and tell my students that they need to do 5 a day for 4 days, and then we check them on the 5th day. And so it's just one of the rotations after they're done. Once you have it added to your drive, you're going to come over to your Google Classroom, and let me delete this and step you through it. So I've created my Google Classroom. I didn't use my actual Google Classroom because it has my student names, and so I just created one. What I like to do is come down here, and when you hit the plus sign, you can create an announcement, create an assignment, create a question, or reuse. I come down to create an assignment. I like to number all of my assignments. So it's really easy for me to say, go back to question or assignment 35. And so it pops right up. Because sometimes you might have a couple that are similar. You might have a couple area and perimeter. You might have some addition, subtraction. So when you have the number, it makes it a little easier. So I'm going to type in perimeter task cards. You can add instructions if you want something specifically added. You can add a due date or topic. I don't typically with my perimeter cards because I don't take a grade on them, but you can definitely add that if you would like to take a formative or a summative grade on it. And then you come down here to the Google Drive. And since we have already added it, you don't want to hit any of the ones that say template because that's for a Google Classroom assignment that you've already created. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click and hit add. And now this is the really neat part. If you only wanted to assign this to certain students, you come up here and click all students, and it will drop down into all of the students that are in this specific class. You can go through and you can click on the ones that you want. If you have multiple classes, if you would come here and click here, it'll put a pop-up or a pop-down that will have all of your different classes in it. I really love this because I teach 2 different classes, math and science, and so it's really easy for me to go into one of my classrooms and assign it for both of my classes. Just make sure you do that the first time because it won't let you go back and edit the second time. So just make sure that you do that before you hit assign. The real magic comes when you come down here and say students can view file. If you want them to just view the file and write down on a piece of paper, you can do that. But what I do is I make a copy for each student. When you make a copy for each student, it will put this into their drive and into your drive. And so you'll have it already created. There is no sharing. There is no back and forth. The students aren't creating things. You are making it for the students. So once I make a copy for each student, I hit assign. And when it assigns it, it'll pop up in their stream. And so it'll pop up here in their stream. This will tell you how many students are not done and then how many students are done. Typically, I don't have them turn it in until Thursday when they're done with everything, but sometimes they accidentally turn it in early. So it'll just tell you who might need to go back in and take it out of the turn-in basket. So once it has created the assignment, you're going to come down here and the students are going to click on their task cards, and up here it'll say perimeter task cards Jane Doe, and so it'll say their name right next to it. And so this just goes back and this is the individual student. They're not going to see other people's answers. They're just going to see theirs. What I love about this is they have the choice that if today I want to work on just pictures, I can just do the pictures. If I want to come down here and work on a couple of the word problems, I can do that. And so it allows the kids the freedom to jump around. As long as they finish 5, I don't care which 5 they finish on each day. The cool thing now is if you go into your drive, there's going to be a button that says Classroom. When you click on Classroom, it'll pop up with all of the different Google Classrooms that you have. Currently, I only have the one, but if you have multiple, it'll come up with all of the different classrooms. So when I click on the Turquoise Teacher, I added one earlier, and so typically you'll only have that one class. And so it'll have the templates, and do not mess with these. It says do not edit these. It just is where it stores all of your templates. When I click on this, all of your students' information will be here. Since I have no kids, none of the slides are here. But this is where you're going to be able to look at your students' slides and be able to click on it very easily and see maybe where some misconceptions are. And so I really hope that this has helped. If you have any other questions, please contact me at theturquoiseteacher1@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram, The Turquoise Teacher, and I'm also on Teachers Pay Teachers at Kelsey Simons, The Turquoise Teacher.